Hi everyone, this is Melissa with The Creative Season, and we are in week 4 of Advent with our 4th watercolor project celebrating peace this week. This is our 4th journey. The theme is peace, and so I decided to go ahead and create a group of candles and just looking out into the world. And it's very, very cold right now. Very dark on many of the days, very foggy, lots of rainy, stormy weather, and peace lights up like a light in the middle of all of life's struggles and turmoils, and that is what we're celebrating this week. And so in this watercolor, we're going to paint 4 cut candles. I'm not terribly traditional about the Advent colors, and I'll talk some more about that in the video, but I am employing some splatter art this week. This is a very simple painting. It's not going to take more than about 15 minutes total with a little bit of dry time as well, and it's a wonderful way of looking at the verses, the theme, contemplating, reflecting on the gift of Advent in this week, how Jesus brings us peace through his birth. So grab your watercolors and join me in this really lovely watercolor, and I can't wait to paint this with you and celebrate as we enter into the very final week of Advent. Welcome to the 4th week of Advent. Our Advent project, our watercolor project that we're doing. I'm Melissa. Welcome to the Creative Season. We are going to start out today by doing some splattering. So if you have been doing some of the other art projects with me, such as a splatter tree earlier this month, you may already have paper that's all covered with splatters. If so, do pull that out. We're going to use that today. This is a piece of paper I had. It is it's about not 8 by 9, and this one is a 6 by 9. I have just been taking this watercolor paper that's a 9 by 12 and then cutting it as I needed it to. So if you may have some paper already covered with splatters, and then you can just fast forward to the next part, but if you don't, go ahead and start doing some splatters now. And so what we're going to do with that is it's really easy. You don't have to think too much about it. As far as just grab a couple of colors, whatever colors you would like. We're going to be using blues and greens and purples in this, so maybe a little bit of those splatters. And whenever you splatter, just get the paint brush nice and saturated with paint. And the higher up you splatter, the more they're going to disperse. Of course, if we go down nice and low, it's going to be more focused. I'm not too worried about making these too heavy, or we're not trying to make any sort of design. In fact, this is supposed to be pretty random, and it's just going to be a nice backdrop. We're not going to be painting the back. No wash on this particular one, so the splatters give a bit of depth, and it's also going to give some consistency to some of the other paintings that we've been doing, such as that Advent wreath that we did in week 2, where we also were painting on the splatters. I'm even going to get a bit of brown here. The idea with splattering with watercolor is you don't want it too heavy at one layer at a time, because then the colors tend to merge. I also have 2 papers here. I've got another paper covered that I'm going to use because I am planning some other projects, and I know I'm going to be using these for those projects. So, I'm again moving around the splatters. Then I'll move this away so I can get some on this area too, and maybe I'll just do a little bit of blue over here. Again, we're not trying to make this too, we're not trying to create anything. It really is just splattering. So once you have the splatters, again, a couple of colors, nicely splattered here. You might want to let it dry and then add in some more. That would be fine. I'm going to add just a little bit more pink over here. And I think over on this one, I want to add just maybe a little bit of green. There we go. And then we're going to call it good. Then I'm going to go ahead and stop, let that dry, because if we put paint directly on this, it will just all blur, so we don't want that to happen. Let it dry, then come back, and we're going to go and do a sketch next. Okay, so we are back. We are going to start sketching, and we are going to start sketching our candles. So what we're going to do is we are going to create 4 candles. We are going to do a similar one to where a couple of weeks ago we had the we had a wreath with the Bible verses around it. So the same idea is that we're going to do the candles with being able to write some of the verses out beside it or around it. So I'm going to start really casually. I am sketching with the micron pen this morning, and you know how candles oftentimes don't burn evenly. we are going to go ahead, my first candle at least, this one is one that is not, it's been burning unevenly, but it has a brilliant glow. So I'm just doing a nice simple sketch. And remember too, with these Advent watercolors, the point is that it doesn't take up too much time to create. We're able to, I'm going to go ahead and make that flame in the middle to remind myself of that. We're really working to, even if, I know how busy the season is, so no matter how busy you are, a few minutes to create, to help quiet our hearts and our minds down in preparation for this week. It is so busy, especially the week before Christmas, right? It is so busy. So I'm also going to make some of these different sizes. I'm going to come over here, different heights of candles. I know typically we would sketch the back, and I'm not terribly traditional here. I'm also not going to be too traditional too with my colors. And usually the candles, I think Advent candles, there would be three purple, I think, and a pink, if I'm correct. But we're going to go, my peace candle is actually going to be blue, because blue is such a color of calm and peace. And I think of rivers and waters, of the blue sky. So I'm going to make the peace candle, the candle representing this week, blue. But then we'll make the other candles, whatever color you'd like. Again, you don't need to be terribly traditional. And if you love that tradition, go ahead, please do. But I'm just, we're just gonna, again, we're more of the spirit of the spirit of the law here, not the letter of the law, so to speak. So I've got these all nice and sketched out. They're a very light sketch. I'm not worried about lots of detail. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna start taking very light washes of paint, especially in the back ones, because I want my blue to be the most brilliant, and I will probably end up doing more splattering after that first layer dries. So I'm going to go ahead and adding in that pink. I'm also going to give a lot of room for that flame right here. So I'm just dropping in paint. Again, very light. Whatever colors might be meaningful to you. Pink, always joy. I love pink and joy because I think that was last week's. One of our weeks has been hope, right? That was. I'm going to do a green candle. I always think of green with the rich symbolism of evergreens, the evergreen trees that never stop. They're pine needles, they're green needles, never stop. All year long. They do not go into hibernation or fall off. And it just reminds me of the love of God, which is never ending for us. And so one of these candles, I'm just going to have a nice green candle here. You're going to notice too, let me come down a little bit closer, that some of those splatterings, you'll notice they will fade, or they'll even bleed a little bit. That's fine. We expect that because of the nature of watercolor. You'll also notice I'm not too concerned about coloring everything in. The joy of this is just a nice light sketch. Maybe you're making this after you've turned off my voice, or you even have this on mute when you redo it or whatnot, and you just have the quiet, maybe a candle going like I do, and just relaxing in the presence of Jesus and praying, listening, just celebrating Advent. So I've got a green, we've got a pink, this is going to be my blue, and over here I think I will do, what do we want to do? I actually think I'm going to do a light brown. And again, coming over here, I probably should have made this one really a little bit, the candle should be a little bit more higher like that. So I'll just do a quick sketch before I lay paint down on top of it. Letting that go, and we'll just bring it up over here. And that bleeds a little bit, but that's okay, because that'll also kind of cover up that other line that I had previously made. This is a burnt sienna, so it's a really warm brown. And I might add another color. I may add purple in over that, we'll see. But just adding that color, and now we're going to go ahead and do the blue. And I want this one to be the most brilliant because our theme this week is peace. I had been just sketching out an earlier sketch of something I decided not to do, but just sketching out everything of the words of Jesus, remember about what was said about him being the Prince of Peace, him coming in and saying there's several things. Of course, I'm not remembering them as I'm here, but the Prince of Peace, sleep, some of the carols, sleep and heavenly peace, the many references to peace within the New Testament. And then we'll end up adding some of the Bible verses for this week at Advent around the drawing. Okay, so I'm going to continue adding blue here. Now what I will do, because I want to make it a little bit more bolder, go ahead, if you want, grab some of your pink. And you know, when you're at peace, I think that joy comes with it, right? I think the joy comes with it. So let's go ahead and add some of that pink representative of the joy. It might turn just a hair purple, but that's okay too. I'm just going to add a little bit of that color to right there. I'm going to come back and get some more blue and just dab that in there, letting that just run down and take over now. And I'm using a lot of blue, and again, just letting that run down. You might see some colors bleeding in. I'm not too worried about that. When we come back and do some splattering, we'll take care of that. You'll also notice I am not running down my color all the way to the end. I am just letting it be uneven at the end. Now, one thing I'm going to be probably a little bit concerned about right now, we have some interesting colors. That's totally fine. That's great. I'm going to add some more pink in the back here. Is that adding our flame in? And I think I am going to wait, because if I add it in now, I'm concerned I will start getting a lot of color. And I want the yellow flame to be pretty bright. So that's actually looking really nice. I actually really love the way the colors are merging. If you want to emphasize any of your colors, for example, if you want to add a little bit blue to the green and then add in, just darken it up over here, let those colors flow. I'm going to add a little bit more blue to my green. And again, just let everything flow down, letting those splatters too create those backdrop. I really like that. Actually, this is really pretty and beautiful. I think it's very interesting to just think of all the themes too of our time as we have gone through Advent. All the themes they just merge into the one road, right? It's all about Jesus. So hope and faith and peace and joy. It's all rooted in Jesus and his birth and his coming. So, okay, let's let this completely dry. Then we're going to come back. We will end up adding the flames. We're going to add some splattering as well. And then this will be complete. We'll add in our verses. And this is really, really lovely. I'm loving the way it's turning out. Okay, so we are back. It is completely dry. We're going to put on those final details, and I'll give you an option for doing a few more things. I thought that perhaps the sun was going to come out, but we are persisting in the fog today, so into the fog we go and to finish our painting, but there's no shadows, so we'll be thankful for that. And the light is not bad, actually. So I just want to go ahead and point out a few things. I'll turn on my overhead light there. You may notice in your painting here, and I think this is actually one of the beauties of watercolor, what we have the colors have merged together, and actually it's not bad at all, because we were using colors that actually sang together nicely. If you want to go at this point, and perhaps you want to do a little bit of extra additional sketching, feel free to do that. We're going to start by adding the yellow, the flame, and then we'll go ahead and do a little bit of splattering around as well. And then finally, I'll end up writing the my verses out, but I'll probably wait till, of course, after it's all dry, and maybe even do just a little bit more splattering. If you wanted to now, you could also write out the verses. This is really a part of preference. But again, look at how this just looks actually quite beautiful. I am really loving this and looking at wanting now to add the sense of light. So I've got some clean water. I have got some yellow paint. I have a cadmium yellow medium here, and I am going to go ahead and add in a little the yellow. I'm going to keep it pretty watery because this is all dry. I'm not too concerned with bleeding into the blue and creating a green, for example. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just again adding in that beautiful light. I'm leaving white, as you can tell. I am going to add in some other colors. So we're going to give this a quick chance to add in, start to dry just a little bit. Now I am going to take just a little bit of pink. I'm going to mix it with that yellow, And we're going to get, just so I can get a different color here, and I'm going to drop that in. Of course, fire, when you look at it too, the candle, it is never one color. I've got a candle burning here, and you can look into it and just see the different colors. If you wanted to just grab pink and then just drop in pink, you can certainly do that. That just creates a different color. Then grab some more yellow, put it on top. I'm going to go ahead too, I'm going to grab and just do some splatterings right down here. Just some nice splatter of that yellow fire. I was looking at the verses, a couple of verses about peace that I wanted to incorporate, and you know, I kept, of course, in Luke, when the angels come and visit the shepherds, and they, you know, say, "Glory to God in the highest, peace on earth, goodwill to men," and that's definitely going to be one of the verses I write. And the other verse that came to mind was also in Isaiah, when it says, talking about the prophecy of "Unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulders, and his name will be called." And I'm going to think everlasting, mighty God, everlasting Father, Mighty Counselor, Prince of Peace, and I'm forgetting one of them, but that Prince of Peace, you know, having the Lord as our Prince of Peace. I love that. I absolutely love that. No matter what's happening, we have peace when we have Jesus. So just clinging on to that in Advent this year. And I'm going to add just a little bit more brown, not too much. Really wanting to add it just to create some depth, to create that sense of roundness. I'm going to come back to our peace candle, the blue one, and I am going to add just a little bit more blue to it. I'm going to come back over here and go ahead and all the way around. In here a little bit, I am going to go ahead, add some more water. We're going to go ahead and pull it down just a hair. I'm going to go in and grab a different blue, and feel free to mix your blues if you want. I'd use a phthalo blue, and now this is the ultramarine blue, and we're going to just let that dip close into the flame. Just like that, and then coming back around here, I'm going to pull that down a little bit, but not too much, and again a bit more here. I'm going to take it a little bit and then just splatter the blue right around here. And this is too where you'll notice if we get the blue into the flames, you're going to get some variation of color. But as you look around your painting, is there anything else that you want to add? Or are you happy with it? And this is the part where I sometimes think, okay, I'm just going to add just a little bit here. You know, again, just wanting to create a sense of increasing that pop value where it's almost popping off the page. I'm going to come back. I'm just going to add some water to my brush. I'm going to pull that green down. If the blue wants to blend into the green, that works. Again, I'm thinking too of the theme of how all of these colors, if they're all symbolizing the different weeks that we've been on, they all come together, right? They all, the joy, peace, faith, it all comes back to Jesus. They all are come together there. Again, I'm going to put just a little bit more pink, creating that sense of some depth, some shadowing. Coming back over here, adding a little bit of water to the paint. And that is really, it's going to be about done. I'm going to come one more time, clean off the brushes really, really good. And then let's do one more wash of yellow in our flame. So if it got some splattering in there, don't be too bothered. Just add a little bit more yellow. I'm going to make this flame a little bit bigger. And our flame of peace right up here. Adding just a bit more color there around, and then in this one as well. I'm going to add some yellow up at the top here and around the side. And then I'm going to let the whole thing dry. The only thing I'm going to take a little bit of pink splatters because we have the pink here, and just for the sake of creating that sense of color all the way around. And we're just about done there. I really love that. It's very simple. When we put the words on, it's going to look just gorgeous. So I hope you have enjoyed this painting with me. Not a complicated one, not a long one, but again, just a beautiful, simple watercolor, Advent watercolor, thinking about the week and the theme of peace. So I'll definitely add in a picture of what it looks like at the end. And if you have enjoyed this, please do leave a comment. Let me know if you did this one, what you thought about adding in the splatters. And I will see you again here on Christmas, when I will have a special Christmas finishing Advent together. All right, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I will see you soon.